of these nights, bro, every I'm gonna take like a picture of like 15 of y'all, bro. Boy, clumsy running into a tree.
No, bro.
Bro, got a British patch, cuz. I'm keeping that bitch. Oh. Bro, the phone's only sell for 900? That little run just got me to like 49k.
I'm wondering if I should buy a gun or not. Cause I only got 50k, 46k.
Shit, get whatever you want. You need arm. Go.
I got tier 2 vest and tier 1 helmet. Should I get a tier 2 helmet?
Yeah, like the Kyber or the Mick 2000 or whatever.
The Kyber helmet?
Yeah, Kyber. There's a cliff right here, clumsy.
Let me know y'all ready to leave.
Shit, we almost to y'all. We 1.6 out.
Bet I'm vibing.
Where the boys at?
Why do I hear a bunch of nerds?
You said a bunch of nerds? What are you talking about?
People in the GZ, bro. I'm talking to this guy, and he said he's gonna kill us.
So is Jeezy like a green zone?
Yeah, yeah. It's like everyone goes there to sell shit and trade and all that. Nobody can kill each other.
Yeah, DT's lucky you can kill each other in here.
But Slim just trying to make enemies.
Think because you own people game?
Hell yeah. Well, really, KP killed him, but it's because he shot him. Sim shot KP, then KP got up and finished his shit. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, now that shit was funny, ain't gonna lie. Right, I had to buy me a fucking magazine. Fuck, I forgot what mag to buy. I'm retarded. 5.7 mag. 5.7 mag with 728 ones.
Oh my gosh.
What happened?
How do I know, like, when I can have a certain And I can put on the grip on my gun. When I know it's the right one. You know what I mean?
Why's your mic sound like bad right now? I don't know what's wrong with your mics, man. You sound quiet.
That
Sound
boy sound he
quiet or
pinched me
low
in
or
bed.
something.
Hello? Is that better?
A little
Shit.
bit, I
Quiet.
guess. It sounded like way clearer earlier. I don't know.
I get that's the backwards game.
I don't know. It sounds normal to me when I listen to it.
I don't know.
But it's like
trying to
I'm
turn you
quiet
up.
now.
No, you're good. I mean, I turned you up, so you're good.
But
Swavy, bro, I'm starving, bro.
Your character? Yeah. Eat that.
I pick it up.
So what happened?
I do.
On the food?
Yeah. That shit is easy. You could jog and eat, yeah. You good.
You be drinking them protein shakes?
You want one?
Let me just taste it. Because I was going to buy this same exact flavor. But I didn't want to buy it because they kind of expensive. So I was like, I want to taste it first.
I got a headache. We all at in the server.
We're at a green zone. Gotta like, I don't know. We gotta get, or you gotta get to us for me to invite you to the group, and then you can see us on the
What
map
is it,
and
like the
shit.
Northwest Airfield?
It's the one by Arsenova. It's the little turquoise X by Arsenova. It's like top right, kind of.
What the fuck?
Hey, you're good. You just wait a second and then hit space to jump, and it should fix it. Or try to like jump and sprint over here to the stairs.
So here I am at probably the worst school in the country. These alumni are nothing but arms dealers, serial killers, and corporate lawyers. Real scum. And that old creep thinks he can tame me? We shall see, my friend. I only give people what they have coming to them.
Yeah, you're
I
good.
gotta
It's
get
like,
used to it.
yeah, it's like loading everything in.
Look at that.
Gotta make some room, bro.
Alright, you good. Come over here. There's like a vending machine over here that you can use. And there's another person over there that you can use. So basically, at the bottom you can click sellable or purchasable, depending on what you're trying to do. And then it gives you all the categories over here.
Could I sell these?
Yeah, I just sell all that shit, no lie.
Open this.
Even this?
Yeah, cause we could just buy them when we need. So we don't really.
Can you pour me a cup of it?
Yeah. Put some ice on it.
Need batteries?
I know it's in there.
You could keep
A
it.
little bit of ice.
I mean, it's ice in a little, in the ice trays.
Yeah, pocket watches. Oh damn, you only had one. I thought you had two of them. I think you dropped them in those shorts that you had on or something. You probably
Mic
had
check.
some shit in there.
Yeah, that bag expensive.
But bro, you should like uncheck the categories that you're not looking at anymore. Cause your game will lag. You know what I mean? Like when you're looking through. Yeah, just keep it like that. Just keep one category open. So it'll make your shit drop FPS and all that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Like when you click on click on one of them. So like now it's open. So like when you're done with it, then you close it. Yeah. Before you open another one, that'll keep your game from lagging.
Want to cut that timer off?
Yeah. So how much money did you get? You got 14K. Shit. Not very much. Y'all got any kind of bread to hook Clumsy up? Clumsy, no, you just train
What
and
the
left.
fuck?
Yeah, run back, bro.
I don't even think I'm in the right fucking server. I don't see Arsenal.
We're in rearmed US. Is that the one you joined?
Yup.
It's gotta be the right one.
The dishwasher.
I always forget you have this.
Nah, you're in here. You just typed in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's top right of the map. I don't really know.
You talking about Lisa Gora?
Nah, like there's a fat town top right. It's called like Novad. Novad, whatever the fuck.
Oh, no,
Look
I
to the
missed
left of that. You gotta zoom in though. You're gonna see it.
Okay.
Military, Arsenovo military. There's a turquoise X right next to it.
Okay, I see it.
Oh, these guns are
That's where we're
cheap.
Okay. Oh,
Right,
fuck, I'm far as shit.
Listen, you got any extra bread?
Yeah.
I got 7,000 right here, cuz.
Shit, throw it to Clumsy, bro. Let him
Alright,
get right.
got you.
Pick him up a little bit.
Where you at,
so I'ma
Clumsy?
help him out.
I'm at the store. I'm in the middle
Stay there, stay there, stay there.
with the best
Yeah,
shoes
get him
here.
right, bro.
Pick
Got
that
the
shit up, bro.
cleanest shoes.
It's
We got
26K
the
right
wackest
there.
fit, so we gotta get him right.
Somebody took
You can't kill yourself in the server?
Who took the money that I just gave Clumsy?
What the fuck up? I mixed our breads up and gave it to him. He got 33 bands.
Alright.
You got it?
Yeah, so what I buy with this?
So I'll get you a gun, probably. And get you yeah, put that hoodie on, bro.
Yeah, I can use some of my bread too.
Like, put it in your hands. Like, hurry up and grab all your shit off the ground. Like, your money's just sitting
Oh,
there.
yeah,
on the ground.
72 bands. Yeah, 72
Grab your
bands.
shit, grab your shit. I'm gonna grab it. Everything's there.
Yeah, 70 bands now.
Oh, yeah, that's hella. So go into the trader again. I'm gonna get you armor and a helmet.
Grab this, grab this. Grab what? Right here.
I'm gonna give you all my money, bro. There's 8,000 right there.
Ah,
$16.
$16. Bro,
Yeah, I
what
got
you mean?
3 more
Yeah,
thousand
come
right
here,
here. I just sold that
come here.
keychain, bro. Where you
Candy
at?
bar,
Clumsy.
bro.
Alright, hold on. Let me just help him buy some shit. He already got a lot of money. Just let him buy some shit. You don't need
Right
3,000.
here, right here comes your right here, right here. To your left. Alright. Pick it up.
He needs to
Alright, come
change the
here, come
color
here.
of his group members so he can see which one y'all are.
Alright, pick it up after sure.
Yeah, Clumsy, real quick, press M. I'm gonna change the color of the group members for you. Go to settings at the top. Top, yeah. And on the right, yeah, it should be that one, player 3D marker. Just change it to whatever color you want. Like you gotta use the scales.
This
Red,
one?
green, and blue scales.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, and at the bottom of that, it shows you what color it is. So that'll just be like the color of our names and shit. Yeah, then just click save at the bottom right. There you go. Now you can kind of tell a little bit better. Alright, now go into the trader. We're gonna get you armor, helmet, and whatever is left you can get a gun with. So look for military helmet, see that right there. And then scroll down. There's gonna be one called like the Kyber or the MiG 2000. You can get either one of them, whichever one you like. Yeah, there they are. On the left, like up one row. On the left. Yeah, the Kyber and the MiG 2000 right below it. Whichever one you want, and you click on it, and then you can change the color of it.
Oh, this one?
You want to eat your
You see
vegetable
it,
screen?
it's very empty screen.
I put to your coach.
And then you just click buy.
You don't eat your vegetables.
Alright, now let's get you a little armor plate, armor vest. Go to vest.
Not even gonna cap game.
Play that in the
I'm
bottom
so
green.
far away. Don't even want to play this shit.
You don't want the Perun plate carrier. There it is. That row, yeah. You can change the color unless you just want it black. Alright, now you're good on that. So now you just need a gun. So, well, I mean, shit, you know, what kind of straps you fuck with, you know what I'm saying? Get you a pistol, get you a assault rifle, whatever you fucking with.
How much money do I got?
You got 49K right now. And you can customize these guns too.
I'm gonna back out and reload back in a minute.
When is actually
So-
good?
I mean, any of them assault rifles for the most part are good. I mean, just find something that you like and I'll tell you if it's good or not. That'd be the easier way. The Galil? Nah. Jalen and TK had the worst experience with that gun yesterday. So, I would say no.
Oh,
Oh, bro. I mean, what do you like? You
Yo,
like
I'm going around
AKs?
painting
You like
random niggas' faces,
M4s? Oh yeah, that one's smooth, bro.
I'm
G36.
painting everybody's face
House.
in this bitch.
With Liberty Mutual,
Look,
you can
customize it.
customize and save.
Oh, I think your hats are switched.
And now see all the attachments? Yeah.
With hotels and vacation
little
rentals,
40 round
Booking.com
gun.
has something for everyone.
You did it
Bottom.
too.
There you go. Now look, put it on the stove.
Oui, right this way.
What about
There's a
something
lot
more
of
family friendly?
sites that you can put on there. So whatever
Maybe
you
a
fuck with,
resort
yeah.
with a water park?
Touching.
Maggie takes a look in the fridge, and honestly, I'm not really sure what's significant
Bro, I've had
here,
this
other
shit
than the
on
box
fucking
that says
coffee.
carrots is empty. Maybe there's
are
something
you
important
talking
here,
about?
and it'll make sense
I've been
later.
having
But
this.
anyway, after eyeing the contents of the fridge, Maggie decides to go for a walk through the woods. After a while, she finds what she was looking for, the arrow etched into the tree. She follows its direction, and sure enough, it leads to another arrow.
Did it work?
She repeats
Oh,
this
yeah, it did work.
process until she realizes that she's actually been led in a big circle. Then someone appears behind her saying the words, "Are you cooking a turkey?" Yep, it's Judy, the woman from part 1 who gave Maggie the foil. She's no longer wearing her yellow coat, but instead a Capsule Corp shirt. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball, you probably recognize this as a direct reference to the show, and more specifically, a shirt that Trunks commonly wears. Anyway, Judy asks Maggie what she's doing here, and it's clear that she doesn't really know herself, or rather, she doesn't want to admit it. Judy tells her it's okay to speak freely here. They're in a natural dead zone in this part of the woods. She just wants to be friends, and asks her again what she's looking for. Maggie says that the arrows make no sense. They just lead in a circle. She believes the arrows are a trick made by Judy to lead people into the dead zone and then deal with them. So she asks Judy, "Are you gonna deal with me now?" Judy says if she wanted to kill her, she would have never seen her coming. Maggie says she's not scared of her, and Judy says, well, maybe you should be. In the surrounding wood, several weapon-wielding people peek out from behind the trees. Episode 42, Third Party Logistics. Maggie does an Arthur-style fist clinch and says, "Go ahead, take your shot." The shadowed figures stay put, however, and Judy begins to laugh. She tells them to stand down and the figures disappear. Judy says she likes Maggie. She's stone cold, and more importantly, sees things the same way she does. She realizes that Maggie wouldn't come out here just to rat her out. Maggie wonders if this is all some sort of test to join the rebellion. Judy reminds her that she needs to return the favor for the foil and that the time has come. Maggie asks what she wants, and Judy says she noticed that she's been making herself some new friends. Before we find out what she's on about, it cuts back to the house with Maggie already returning home. She hears some noises coming from the back garden. Sam is covered in dirt and hard at work, ready to expand the garden, hoping that next year's crop will be 10 times bigger. And he starts rambling about everything
It's called
he wants
Everything
to do.
Is
Maggie
Fine.
can
It's a
tell
web
something is
comic.
off
I'm just
and
watching
asks
another
him
YouTube
what
to, like,
happened on his
explain the
walk.
show.
He says he just
So I
needed
ain't
to
gotta
clear
read
his
it.
mind and
Being
shoots the
lazy.
question back her way, asking her why she's acting so weird. He says she could help him if she wants and that he's planning to plant some fruit trees. Maybe in 5-10 years they'll be able to make some fruit pies. This completely disarms Maggie. 10 years? Does he really think they're gonna be here that long? After an awkward pause, he just shrugs the question off and says, "Fine, don't help me." But Maggie says they need to have a talk about Star Wars. I love that Sam's offhand comment earlier is now code word for the rebellion.
Thank you.
Episode 43, Where You're Going. In the boat, Maggie starts by telling Sam the entire backstory of how she met Judy after looking for foil. Sam points out that technically, if it wasn't for Judy, they wouldn't be alive right now. They never would have gotten the foil, and Bob and Linda would be here instead. Maggie continues telling him what happened, and we see a flashback of Judy asking her to bring her some materials. Something Maggie points out is extremely risky, and asks what the point of the rebels really is. What's the big plan?
He gonna knock my
Judy
plate
simply
down.
says that if Maggie joins her, they're gonna save the world. Back in the present, Sam thinks it all sounds crazy,
What
but
time is it?
Maggie asks if it's any crazier than planting
2 o'clock.
trees and planning to be here for years.
They probably
She then
already
asks
get to it.
again what happened while he was out on his walk, and he finally opens up. He and Glenn talked a bit, played some chess, and looked through the garden. Glenn told him something that resonated with him, that this is all there is. Maggie's actually a little pissed off because she said the exact same thing to Sam earlier, but now that Glenn says it, he suddenly has a big reaction. She's starting to feel like Sam doesn't trust her, and shockingly, he actually says that he doesn't. He points out that her killing Tom was a huge risk, and just because it paid off doesn't mean it will again. If she messes up, they could die. Maggie just thinks they should explore all options here. It could be that Glenn and Gladys are right and that there is no point in fighting, but it could be that Judy is right and that there's a way to stop all of it. But either way, she needs Sam. She admits that she has been a risk, but she needs to see if Judy is legit because it might be the only way to save their daughter. So Sam can either help her or not, but it wasn't an accident that they got this far. It's because they worked together. She asks him point blank, "Are you with me or not?" Episode 44, Extend the Neck. Maggie and Gina are doing a yoga class out on the docks and gossiping about how one of the residents, named Robert, just up and left his wife in the middle of the night. Gina jokes that maybe he joined the rebels, and Maggie laughs it off as a ridiculous idea. Then
We gotta
when
start
Gina's
live
not
streaming on
looking, she
recording
reaches
sessions
for
too, bro.
her bag. Later in the house, Sam and Maggie go over their secret plans. Maggie suggests they go to the boat to discuss them, but Sam says it's fine, they can talk about it here. The plan is for Sam to go over to Dave's house and steal one of his hunting traps from the garage. Then once he has it, he takes it over to Chris's stall at the market. In the morning, Chris will step on it and be out of action for a while. They'll tell Officer Greg that Chris was sneaking around Dave's stall before. They get a smile for reporting, Dave gets a frowny, and Chris loses a foot thinking it was Dave. They discuss this plan while standing right next to the vase that Chris gave them, and it seems like they're intentionally speaking into it. Well, guess what? The thing was rigged with a microphone. Gina is listening in and tells Chris what she just heard. Sam and Maggie nod at each other, confirming that they knew the device was inside and had this dialogue here intentionally. Maggie sneaks out back and into town while Sam leaves the front door down the main path. Sure enough, Chris and Gina aren't far behind. In town, Maggie approaches Gina's pharmacy and enters using the key card she snatched earlier. Meanwhile, Chris and Gina tail Sam all the way to Dave's house, ready to take photos for Officer Greg. Only Sam
What you say?
I'm just talking. I said this meal is very healthy, high in protein. Me and Cree been trying to, up our protein intake.
Doesn't break into Dave's garage. In fact, he just keeps walking past his house. They wonder why he's not following through with his plan when Gina starts to piece together what may be happening and heads out, saying she needs to check on something. At the pharmacy, Maggie is filling a bag with multiple health items, which must be what Judy
So you think you
requested.
put down.
Outside, she hears Gina coming in the door and hides behind the counter. However,
could've put
Gina
like a
cuts
real
through the
bouncer.
bullshit and straight up calls Maggie out, knowing she's inside. Episode 45, Catch and Release. Maggie stands up and the two coldly greet each other. Surprisingly, Gina plays it off as if Dave broke in and that Maggie was only trying to stop him. She then continues this act, thanking her for being such a good friend. Maggie plays along, saying she doesn't think he's hiding back behind the counter. Gina opens a drawer and says, "Oh no, it looks like he did get some things," and starts putting supplies on the counter. She asks Maggie if he got away with anything else, and she continues playing along, suggesting he took some heavy painkillers as well. Gina says she'll report it, but since there's no hard evidence, Greg probably won't do anything. But she's glad she has such a good friend like Maggie and that they can help each other out. So I was a little confused about this segment when I first read it, but what I think's happening is that Gina thinks that Maggie was trying to get the meds for herself and tries to reaffirm the alliance by letting her get away with it and blaming Dave. It's odd to me that Gina wouldn't use this opportunity to just report Sam and Maggie for this, but she might have bigger plans, or maybe she really is that friendly. The next day, Sam and Maggie venture out into the woods and discuss the situation with Chris and Gina, unsure what kind of wrench the whole thing is going to put in their alliance. They walk into the dead zone and imply that they can actually feel it. They've also mentioned feeling like the boat was safe and that the Faraday cage worked in part 1, so it seems like however their cat heads are wired, they can literally feel the loss of surveillance. Spooky. Sam and Maggie then talk about Judy, wondering if she's crazy. Little do they know, she's standing right beside them. After the awkward realization that Judy heard them, Maggie apologizes, and Judy laughs it off, saying that we're all a little crazy. Maggie hands off the bag of meds, and Judy mentions that she had a man on the inside, but circumstances changed. Maybe she's talking about the guy who skipped town, Robert. She then immediately asks for more supplies, specifically camping gear. But Sam cuts her off, saying they put their necks on the line for her, so before they do anything else, she needs to answer some questions. Judy actually apologizes and says, go ahead. Sam is obviously surprised she's so willing and asks her the most obvious question, which is there really a rebellion? Judy readily answers, saying, yep, there's about 50 of them, and if you follow the arrows on the trees in the opposite direction, eventually you'll see an old ranger station, which is their current base. Sam is speechless because of the fact that he just got such a straight answer. Judy says that there's still a lot she can't say or trust them with, which leads back to the mission at hand. She asks them how they feel about hunting. Episode 46, Connective Tissue. Judy gives them the next mission. During the next trial hunt, they're going to try and get to the Reds first and tell them about the arrows, hopefully leading them to safety with the rebels as new recruits. She also tells them to buy 2 plants, a sunflower and cactus. If they need to get in touch, put the sunflower on the porch, and if they need to warn the rebels to stay away, put out the cactus. Sam then bluntly asks why they should side with Judy as opposed to saving their daughter. Judy says that's easy. There's no outcome where they save their daughter in the system. It's a sick game and it doesn't end in Lakeview. The rebels aren't here to play. They're here to flip the table and not only save their daughter, but to save everyone. 2 weeks later, Chris and Gina are talking in their boat about Sam and Maggie, how they act.
He getting hangry. Why you gotta always eat what everybody else eat, man? You don't even care. We trying to get us a little bite, bro. You don't care. How old is he now? When's his birthday? April 11th? Huh? Judy, man, go. Sniffing all my food, bro. Move.
Judy. Didn't they say stop?
Nice, but every time they try to initiate the next move for the alliance, they just dip out or brush it off. Chris asks Gina again if there was anything weird that night at the pharmacy, and Gina actually covers for Maggie, saying that there was no one there. Then someone knocks at the door and it's Dave. Apparently, they have a meeting planned. They ask how he's been, and he says that he actually caught a deer yesterday, but since they can't use real guns, he didn't fully kill it with his arrow and had to saw its windpipe with a knife. Okay, this is a guy you don't want as an enemy. They then discuss a plan. Dave says in war, what you want to do is chip away at the strongest foes psychologically by taking out small fry to get them scared and wait for them to mess up. He then pulls out a watch with a whale design. Elsewhere, we see Glenn asking Gladys if she's seen his watch. He talks about how much he hates trial days, but says that it's not fair if they don't go and participate like everyone else. On a sadder note, he asks her if she thinks their kids would understand why they aren't coming for them. Gladys says that she can only hope that they know that Glenn and her love them and that one day they might forget. At the city hall, Mayor Laura is visited by Officer Greg. Apparently, he has some new information about Tom's death. They got the analysis back on the hammer and found some fingerprints that belong to Sam and Maggie. Episode 47, That Lonely You. Well, by now it's clear that the trials take place every couple of weeks, and Julian once again takes the stage at the center of town, and in his creepishly positive attitude, he gives a weird speech about how lucky their place is in the cosmos. Then, of course, he hands it over to the mayor, who goes into a long speech. In the crowd, Sam and Maggie don't see Chris and Gina anywhere, which is kind of concerning. Sam and Maggie start to argue. I guess Maggie was the one who decided to put some space between them and the couple, but Sam says they should have kept them close so they knew what they were planning. It's clear that Sam and Maggie's relationship is pretty rocky since they've gotten to Lakeview. They're then interrupted by Glenn and Gladys. They catch up a bit, and Glenn asks if either of them has seen his good watch with the whale on it. He stopped by Sam's stall yesterday and thought maybe he dropped it. Sam and Maggie exchange a concerned look, and then the mayor begins to announce those going up and going down. There's actually only one person going up and one going down, so the mayor says that the trial is simply a formality, but they'll vote anyway. Before it begins, however, Gina and Chris show up and interrupt the trial, saying that they have intel that someone here is planning to blow everyone up with a bomb. They show Officer Greg to some nearby bushes where he finds the bomb. It's obviously non-functional and just put there for show, but we all know by now that Greg doesn't give a shit as long as it looks like evidence. In the center of it is Glenn's whale watch. Knowing what this means, Glenn and Gladys begin to accept their fate. They're actually quite calm about the whole thing, realizing that this would happen eventually and making peace with it. Greg gives them their demerits and tries to move them onto the stage, and they just straight up tell him to off, which made me laugh. As Mayor Laura starts the vote, Glenn and Gladys happily chat with each other, reminiscing on how they met and letting the rest of the world fade away. They tell each other how happy they are, that they got to spend their lives together. It's kind of sweet. Episode 48, Human Dispatch. Glenn and Gladys head into the woods holding hands for their 20-minute head start. It seems Chris and Gina are planning to chase the old couple to a specific location set up by Dave. They point out how creepy Dave looks staring at them from the edge of the forest, and they give him a cool guy nod to confirm the plan. Sam and Maggie witness this, immediately identifying the cool guy nods, and talk about the plan to try and lead Glenn and Gladys to the rebel base. In the distance, the mayor is watching them ominously. The hunt begins, and Sam and Maggie rush in to find Glenn and Gladys before anyone else. Maggie runs ahead and freezes, telling Sam to turn back. But when he catches up, he sees a horrifying sight. Dave standing above a deep pit, and at the bottom, Glenn and Gladys being completely wrapped up and bleeding in barbed wire. Glenn says he can't feel his legs and wants to know where his wife is, not realizing that she's right next to him and that she's already dead. Dave says that she's the lucky one for dying. He says he's not a monster, and normally when he catches a critter, he puts it out of its misery quickly, but he wanted Sam and Maggie to see what was waiting for them, except 10 times worse. He pulls on the barbed wire, clearly putting Glenn in severe pain. Sam tells him to stop, and Dave says if anyone's gonna put Glenn out of his misery, it's Sam. Episode 49, A Good Person. Dave just walks away saying, well, I'll leave you kids to your fun. Sam doesn't know what to do, Maggie's quiet, and Glenn is sobbing over his dead wife. Finally, Maggie says that they should just walk away. She can't deal with this. Sam is pissed. Now she wants to walk away. Glenn speaks out to them, begging them to end the suffering. Maggie just says, I'm sorry, Sam, but it's your turn. That's her choice, and she walks away. Glenn cries out again to Sam, telling him he thinks they would have been good friends, and as his friend, to to please make the suffering stop. Sam is taken hold of by a memory. His daughter is sick with a sore throat and begs Sam to make it go away. He says there are some things that daddies can't fix. The fact that he can't make his daughter better actually makes him emotional, and his daughter tells him it's okay, she knows he'll always try his best. Snapping back to the present, Sam picks up the nearby harpoon gun, and we hear the sickening sound of an arrow going through Glenn's head. Sam was forced to kill one of the only good people in this whole society. In the dead zone of the woods, Chris and Gina meet up with Dave. He tells them that Sam and Maggie will be easy pickings now. They'll start to make mistakes. Chris says, remind us not to f with Dave. He tells them to go ahead and get Glenn and Gladys's heads, because he doesn't think Sam will have the stomach to cash the meds. He also says that he knows Chris and Gina helped Sam and Maggie set him up for stealing the meds. Gina admits it's true, and Dave says now that they have honesty, they can build trust. He'll forgive them as long as they promise that when Sam and Maggie get redded, he gets to take his time with them. Dude, Dave is a bigger psycho than I could have guessed. Episode 50. Did I do that? Sam meets Maggie at the edge of the woods, but storms off without her. Mayor Laura finds her and asks her to come to her office. Maggie asks what this is all about, and Laura says no need to be tense about it. It's not like she's going to bring the hammer down on her. Interesting choice of words there. They make it back to the mayor's office, and there's an interesting detail in the background. A giant version of the painting Judith beheading Holofernes on the wall. Only the characters have cute cat heads. This painting is actually based on a biblical story where Judith gains the trust of an invading general, Holofernes, only to get him drunk and cut his head off with his own sword. Could be interesting foreshadowing, but maybe I'm reading too much into it. Laura says that there have been a few issues that have come to her attention. Firstly, what is Maggie doing out in the woods so often? Maggie plays dumb, but Laura further points out that she seems to specifically be entering into the dead zone. Maggie continues to lie, saying that if she went into the dead zone, she must not have noticed. Laura says, well, here's another one for you. Remember when my husband was savagely beaten to death by a hammer? Well, it turns out that Maggie and her husband's fingerprints were on the hammer. Maggie tries to lie, saying that it was actually their hammer and that Bob and Linda borrowed it right before Tom's death. Laura's clearly not buying it and asks her one more question. Will Maggie join her in the basement? And the bear rug on the floor opens up to a secret staircase. Meanwhile, Sam is standing in Glenn's garden with a can of gas. A red and white apparition of Glenn covered in barbed wire tells Sam not to do this. They chose to live. He relives the moment he had to kill Glenn in his head as he pours gas around the garden. He hears the voice of Maggie from before saying, what do? Follow the rules, play the sick game, and then we get her back? You really believe that? Sam throws a lighter onto the gas and torches the whole garden, saying, I have to. Then walking away as the whole place burns. Episode 51, Like Heck. Laura tells Maggie she won't bite and once again asks her to enter the basement. Otherwise, she'll have Greg come and talk to her about the hammer. So Maggie agrees and they head down. Instead of some horrific torture dungeon, it's actually an old bomb shelter that's in great condition despite the out-of-fashion 70s style. Laura reaches into a hidden container inside the globe and says she has a really important question to ask Maggie. Neat or on the rocks? Yep, she has a bottle of liquor, and in a shocking twist, we cut ahead to the two ladies drinking and smoking cigarettes together. They're swapping stories about their childhoods like they're best friends and getting drunk. Of all the twists in this comic, this one really caught me off guard. Maggie asks her why she's being so nice when she barely knows her, and Laura admits that she doesn't really know anyone, but she does know what Maggie's really up to in the woods. She knows the rebels are out there and that Maggie has something to do with them. Laura then talks about the origin of the town. Before it all went to hell, she was a pastor, and Tom was a sheriff in a little town a few hours north of Lakeview. They lived a happy and peaceful life with their boys until everything went to shit. The government then put them on a fast track to seeing their kids again, but required Laura to denounce everything and burn down her church. They were then taken to Lakeview, and Laura was made part of a council. The town's mayor at the time was an evil man named Elijah who abused his power and threatened to red status women if they didn't sleep with him. A real scumbag. So one night, Laura snuck into his room and murdered him. Episode 52, For Our Sins. With Elijah out of the way, Laura took on the role of mayor with Julian backing her up. She was still forced to send people up and down every 2 weeks or she'd be redded herself. Someone from the government came and told them as long as they kept sending good citizens up and bad citizens down, they didn't care what the method was. Maggie stops the story here, surprised. She thought that Laura was the government, but Laura says not at all. In fact, the woman they sent to talk to them seemed like she was in the same boat as the rest of us. Unfortunately, even Laura doesn't doesn't know who's at the top or why they're doing all of this. She and Julian tried to talk the government representative into getting rid of the hunt, but she said they still needed to do it to reward the other citizens for their community service. They did, however, convince her to let them have a head start of 20 minutes. It seems like Laura actually wants all of this to end as well, but has to try and work within the system. The head start was actually her way of trying to help the Reds get to the rebels before they're killed. We also learned that she's not eligible to go to Hillside as the mayor, meaning she'll never get to see her boys again, but she believes the sacrifice is worth it to try and fight to improve things from her position. She asks Maggie about meeting with the rebels again. She says that she sees a fire in Maggie's eyes, and that Tom must have seen it too as she bashed his head in. Episode 53, The Nameless Monster. Right when we think Laura's finally gonna get revenge on Maggie for her husband, she just says, it's okay. She knows what type of person Tom had become and that he wasn't always like that. Maggie sympathizes with her, saying, this world takes good people and turns them into monsters. Then the two women hug. Later, Maggie comes home comedically drunk and acting silly. With no tact, she bursts out that she's sorry about Glenn and Gladys and drunkenly asks Sam if he forgives her. He's clearly not happy, but says he forgives her anyway. She collapses on the couch and says she has a lot to tell him after a quick nap. The next day, Sam is gung-ho about selling his vegetables, playing up their puny size as a good thing, which actually helps boost his sales. He uses the extra cash to buy some camping gear from Dave, who he's acting surprisingly friendly toward. Chris watches from his stall and relays the strange occurrence to Gina, including that Sam then went on to buy a bunch of art supplies from him. They decide it might be supplies for the rebels, although it doesn't really explain the art stuff. Gina wonders if it is for the rebels what their move should be. Chris thinks it would be a good opportunity to report Sam and Maggie and get another smiley, plus any extreme rebel activity apparently gets you full demerits and a certainty to be downvoted. It's clear Gina is thinking differently about it. If there are rebels out there, it means there could be another way. Chris says he's made his position clear on this, and that if it wasn't for Chris and him, although it's unclear who this him is, Gina wouldn't be here. And if she's not with him, she's a liability. Okay, clearly there's something weird we don't know about Chris and Gina. Episode 54, Sunflower Boy. Maggie wakes up with a deadly hangover and finds Sam up early painting. A little unusual since he's never done this before. Maggie apologizes if she said some insensitive stuff about Glenn and Gladys last night, and Sam says, don't worry about it, you were just apologizing for leaving me to shoot Glenn in the head. Wow, pretty blunt. Maggie takes a beat and then says she's sorry. Sam says, no you're not, plus you shouldn't apologize, it was my turn. He then asks if they can talk in the boat for a moment. Man, the tension between these two is making me really nervous. Once in the boat, Sam says he wants to help the rebels. They couldn't get to Glenn and Gladys in time to tell them about the arrows, so they need to find another way to gain Judy's trust. Sam talks about how he sold all of his veggies and bought a bunch of camping supplies to give them. Tomorrow they'll put the sunflower out and follow the arrows to the ranger station to give them the supplies. Seems like he has it all figured out and that maybe him and Maggie are on the same page for once. Maggie then tells him all about what she learned from Laura. In the end, Laura said she won't help them, but she wishes them luck in finding the rebels. It seems like they can trust her, at least for now. In the morning, the couple head out and see about saving the world. They set out the sunflower and head into the woods with their gear. As you might expect, Chris and Gina follow them from a distance. Episode 55, Carry the Fire. Sam and Maggie follow the arrows backwards and sure enough find an old ranger station. Judy comes out to greet them and gives her condolences for Glenn and Gladys. I guess she witnessed the whole thing from a distance. She says they can try again next time and figures that's why they came, but is delighted when she spots the camping gear. Sam asks if they can come in now and Judy says she still doesn't trust them enough. He tells her this is a two-way street and it's another 2 weeks till trial. So he offers her a deal. They'll do one more supply run and get whatever the rebels need, but then Judy has to let them in and meet the other rebels. Surprisingly, Judy goes along with it and says it's a deal. Soon it's going to get colder as winter comes in and they'll need to bundle up, so she asks them to get socks, gloves, blankets, and coats. Sam says they can do it and Judy reminds them to put the cactus out if there's any trouble. If their neighbors find out what's going on, it would be the end of all of them. Of course, as she says this, we get a zoom out revealing Chris and Gina watching all of it from afar. They start to discuss whether they think Sam and Maggie are really rebels and if they should call Greg Greg right now. But they have to dive into the bushes when they see Sam and Maggie are coming back. That night, Sam and Maggie get a pile of warm clothes and blankets together. Maggie mentions that something's changed in Sam since Glenn died. There's a fire in him. She feels like for the first time in a while, they're really together again, and tells him that she loves him. He says the same, but looks away like his heart isn't fully in it. Something fishy is definitely going on with Sam. Maggie heads off to bed, and Sam says he has a few more things to get ready for tomorrow. He looks over to the kitchen table where he was doodling, and we see that there's a painting hidden under some pages. What the hell is he up to? Episode 56, How Like a Mirror 2. Maggie wakes up the next morning and finds that Sam never went to sleep. He says he was just too nervous and wants today to go well. Things could be different from here on out. Well, that's ominous. As they leave the house, it almost seems like Sam is crying, but he plays it off. Sure enough, Chris and Gina are waiting to follow them again. This time we hear Chris call Officer Greg with a report. At the same time, it seems Sam is sending a message on his phone. They arrive at the ranger station, but no one comes out. Sam doesn't hesitate, however, and just walks in. Inside is completely empty, and Maggie is a little worried. Why is no one here? Sam lets out a heavy sigh and tells Maggie she needs to stay calm and listen to what he's about to say. He tells her that before they left, he texted Julian if he could put their favorite sunflower plant inside to protect it from frost, and asked him to replace it with the cactus. That way the rebels knew to leave, but it would give Sam a chance to put up some posters. Yep, Sam's sudden new hobby of painting was actually to make propaganda posters about joining the rebels. The posters say to speak to Chris and Gina, a ploy to make it look like they made the posters, especially since the art supplies were from Chris's stall. When Sam bought the camping supplies, he made sure that Chris could overhear him so they'd follow them up here. And hopefully they're doing the same today, only this time with Officer Greg. The perfect setup for framing Chris and Gina. Maggie is in shock. Sam lied to her. He says that he was actually curious about the rebels until he saw what happened to Glenn. And as he put an arrow through his head, he thought, what a pathetic father. What a useless husband. And he decided he wasn't going to let the same happen to him. His daughter is out there, and her dad is coming to save her. He asks Maggie, are you with me or not? Episode 57, Rise. Maggie freaks out, screaming, I trusted you. She really thought they were finally on the same page. She believes if there really is someone waiting for them in Hillside, it's not Sarah, their daughter. Their Sarah would have never left them like that and never said those terrible things. The only reason for them to still be here at all is to join the rebels and try to do what they can before they die. And now Sam's messed all of that up. Sam snaps back at her, asking her, is it really any different than killing Tom? Before Linda reported it, why was she even on Tom's radar in the first place? It seems like he's hinting at something until he finally outright says it. He thinks that Maggie was screwing Charlie. Now we understand the unspoken nugget of mistrust that Sam has had the entire time. He thought that Maggie and Charlie were having an affair. She tells him the truth, that this isn't the case. After all this time, why didn't Sam say anything? He says that Maggie is his sunrise, and he thought that if he just ignored it, the sun would keep rising. He says that she once had to make the call for both of them, and now he's doing the same thing. He's gonna get them to Hillside, and no matter what Maggie believes, they'll see their daughter there. Outside, Chris, Gina, and Greg approach the station. Sam suddenly walks outside and calls out to Greg, saying he was just about to call him to report an incident.